Hi, welcome to Salt and Honey. We're a comics podcast by two full-time cartoonists. I'm Leslie, and this is Sloane.
Hello.
And today we're here with David Brothers.
Yeah.
Hey.
David, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah. So I'm David Brothers. I used to write about comic books a lot, and then I worked at Image Comics for a while in kind of like a marketing, like public speaking role. And now I'm at Viz Media editing manga.
Nice.
Awesome.
Cool.
How are you liking your new job? I'm sure you get this all the time.
My life is ridiculous. Like I can't believe it. Like I got to edit a comic by the guy who did Bleach, which is one of my
Aw.
favorite things.
Mm.
And I get to be the new JoJo's Bizarre Adventure editor because
So
the guy who was doing it had moved into marketing, which is just like beyond belief.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Like I don't really have like a bucket list, but I keep checking things off of it.
like
Yeah.
cool things that keep happening that you're
Yeah.
like into. That's so awesome.
Yeah, it's crazy. I really can't complain. Like I live in Oakland, the weather's been great all year except for all the fire.
Mm-mm.
Man.
It's super cool because like I started reading like your blog, like Fourth Letter, back when I was like in my 20s, like early 20s, like
Mhm.
21. So it's cool to see like all the cool stuff you've gotten to do.
Yeah, we met
Over
super
time.
early too, right? At like San Diego.
Yeah.
It's
Like
crazy.
one of my first or second San Diego Comic Cons, yeah.
Yeah, I think mine too. Jeez. We've come a long way.
I know, right?
God, Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Your favorite con.
You know, now that I haven't gone for 1 year, I'm like, maybe I'll never go again.
You're
That's
like,
such a
that
good
felt pretty
feeling.
good.
I went for one day this year and it was great.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
nice.
just like go as little as possible and leave as soon as
Yeah.
possible.
Like it's fun, but it's so exhausting. Just
Yeah,
all of it.
it's terrible. Like I feel like a week afterwards you're just trying to recover,
Hmm.
like trying to regain your senses.
Yeah, even just going for one day, like I still got like super tired on that weekend.
Mm.
I was like, this is like a pit from hell. What is going on here exactly?
Yeah. What were you doing there? Were you moderating a panel or were you
Yeah, we were doing a couple of Viz panels.
Okay, so you're on a panel,
Yeah,
not moderating.
right. And I also did one about the manga publishing business that
Oh,
Deb
cool.
Aoki put on. Yeah, which was like I felt like the least qualified person on stage. Because
So you're
everyone else
still
was
new
like
to
a publisher or like a like a longtime translator, and I was just like a guy
Yeah.
who likes manga so much he got a job doing it.
it.
But it was fun. We mostly just talked about like current manga that we love, like some of the challenges that the business faces, but also like some of the really cool stuff that we get to do.
hmm
So hopefully, like a fully like 360-degree look at what it's like to make or to edit Japanese comics.
So like, what are your current favorites?
I'm like that. Those
Man.
are all the questions that I want to know.
Yeah, we can just do it again
Over
real
what you just
fast.
said.
I really like I read a bunch of shonen, and I've been
Yeah.
trying to branch out into shoujo because I know it's like a weakness of mine.
Mhm.
And I really like Yona of the Dawn.
I never
Hmm.
read that. I remember my
It's
friend
kind
was
of
watching the anime.
Yeah, I just heard about the anime too. I've just been sticking with the manga for now. But basically, like a princess has like the life of her dreams, and I think it's like a Pan Asian setting, like
Mhm.
fake history, like Full Metal Alchemist.
Mm.
Until the guy that she loves comes to her castle, kills her dad, and takes over her kingdom, and she has to go on the run.
Oh,
But
cool.
she goes on the run with like her hot bodyguard and keeps meeting other hot guardians. So it's kind of like a
Nice.
reverse harem situation.
Yes.
They're all like amazing fighters and that kind of thing. So
That's
it's
some
like,
that's like some Fushigi Yugi shit.
yeah,
Like a girl with her like hot people harem.
yeah, it's a lot of fun, and it's probably like the most shonen of the shoujo that I've read so far. But it's been a
Mm.
really good ride. That and Boys Over Flowers, I'm really enjoying.
Oh yeah.
Classic.
Yeah, the jokes are so good. Like I can't believe it.
I like the paneling in that manga. I haven't read it in a long time, so I'm curious to see how it'd be like to revisit it as an adult
Mm,
versus like a weird
Mhm.
teen that was just reading whatever available.
yeah,
Reading everything through the haze of like teen horniness.
yeah,
Yeah, but also
Everything is really good.
like everything that was like kind of like anime adjacent or manga adjacent, I was like, I need that. I'm gonna look at it.
yeah. It didn't matter what it was.
Yeah.
Voice
It's
Over
like
Flowers is great because she put a bunch of author's notes in there that are like, oh, I based this guy on Christian Slater and like other stars
yeah,
of the 90s.
so
Oh my
great.
god.
I love like I love like shojo or like josei manga artist notes. I feel like they're so comprehensive, like unnecessarily so, but very fun to read.
Yeah. The best for me so far was in Tokyo Tarareba Girls,
Hmm
Oh
where
yeah.
all of the author's notes and like backup matter was just like relationship advice that she was really mean and rude about. Like I guess it got so popular that like fans would find her in like her town and be like, "Hey, like
Oh
I got
god.
this relationship problem,"
Oh
and
my
she's like,
god.
"Look, I'm just out here in my sweatpants and my hair bun. Leave me alone."
She kind of seems like the type that would like listen to people though.
Yeah,
Like that's kind of what I get from like her interviews and stuff like that. That she's kind of like the cool older sister type.
oh, totally. Yeah, she's so
Um,
talented too. It's man, like that comic is so well drawn, and it's just about like regular drama, not even like sci-fi stuff.
Hmm.
But she draws her ass off, and I love it.
Yeah,
What
I
are
love
you all
watching her.
into?
Um, what are we into right now, Leslie? What have we been reading?
I don't know.
we just did a Pluto reread,
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
jeez.
an ep that's gonna be out next week, so that's mostly been on our minds.
that kind of reminds me though. There's like in the Viz version of Pluto. I think that probably in the original too. I think there's like a
Hmm.
postscript. I think it's volume 4.
Hmm.
It was like by like Ryoko Saibara.
Hmm.
She does like this like she does this weird comic about how she's like, I hate Naoki Urasawa. She's like, he's so boring. But then like she met him and he was like super nice and he did like all this research on her and like got her a present. She's like, what the fuck?
Uh,
Why is he being nice to me? Like, I think he's shit. I just love shit like that where it's like someone is just it's so like honest and like kind of comes from a place of like obviously we have like no social like,
yeah,
social
like they're just
grace.
unfiltered completely.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
unfiltered and weird, but like you meet them anyway because like you're in the same industry. But
The Yu Yu Hakusho ones are strong like that too, where he just talks about like being tired all the time.
oh
Like they're really sad, but I'm like, this is the most honest I've ever seen anyone in a comic book.
yeah,
Hmm.
Like risking his career honest.
I love when he's like, fuck it, just fuck this.
Yeah.
Don't care.
And I think that's so cool as a creator too. Like it's cool when people finish projects, but it's also kind of amazing when they just kind of like backflip out of it. Like I'm over it now.
Hmm.
Yeah. It takes some courage and like also probably like acknowledgement of your depression or
Yeah.
something. I don't know what manga have I been even into. I feel like I only read like Shonen Jump. Like that's like the only way I keep up with newish stuff.
Hmm.
I haven't been buying as many books because I've just been buying way too many books. I'm trying to like get rid of them.
hmm
Yeah.
I really want to read Banana Fish though, but I don't want to buy all the physical copies.
I'm in the same boat. Like I'm
Do you
gonna try to
know if they're
borrow
gonna
them
do
from work.
digital? Do they know if they're gonna do digital? I don't know if it can do like the physical copies thing anymore.
I think it's just physical right now.
Oh
But if it's like a
god.
hit, maybe. I don't know how that part of the stuff works, but like digital is so much better for I have a small apartment in the Bay Area. Like I can only
Yeah.
afford so much.
Yeah.
Like there have been so many times where I wanted to tweet Viz. I'm like, why is this not digital? I can't buy 19 volumes
Yeah.
of this comic. I'm like, please.
Just trolling Viz Twitter and there's David. He's like, please stop, Leslie.
I know the social media team at Viz now, and we hang out, and they're just like the
Can you
funniest
ask them?
dudes. Like we all have the same sense of humor.
They're like, we can't do anything about it. We just run the
But
Twitter.
yeah,
Like,
like
I don't
I've
know what you want
been
us to tell
maybe
you.
it'll also make me buy like bad manga too, though, because like everything on Kindle is like $6, and for $6 I will check out a series that's like I got reincarnated as a hero or a demon or a spider or something like that.
God. Like those like light novel adaptation
Yeah,
stories.
and they're
Ugh.
weird because most of them are like social studies comics.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's like here's how we're gonna build a civilization in the year 18 whatever.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, it's I don't understand how it's such a huge genre.
I don't know. I feel like I understand why popular stuff is popular. I can like at least dissect that, but then some things I'm like, why?
Yeah,
Like I
like I
don't
just don't get it. Like sometimes the drawings are nice, but that's about it.
I don't know. Like what are some popular series that you don't understand?
I had a hard time with Bakuman.
Oh, I never read
Mm.
that.
Yeah, there's one part where the guys are like, women don't understand dreams like boys and men do. And I was like, okay, well, I think
It
I'm
seems
good.
yeah, the only thing I've heard about it is that it's like pretty misogynistic.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want to read that. I don't really like Obata's artwork anyway.
Mm.
Mm.
So I don't know. I'm a hater.
Yeah. I I didn't get very far in Death Note.
I didn't either.
It was too like there were too many plot twists. Like I got really tired.
Mm.
It's like it wasn't as interesting as I thought everyone else thought it was.
Hmm.
But I don't know. I was like, this guy's like a sociopath. Like that's and he's a murderer. So I don't know. Like I don't not that invested in his like psyche.
Yeah.
Trying to
Um,
think.
Attack on Titan took me a long time to understand why people like it, but now I really like it, so I feel like I betrayed myself.
Isn't that like a Nazi thing now too?
It's weird. There's like
Like
elements they
revision.
took from World War II, but it's not like pro-Nazi.
So
Yeah,
weird.
it's just like I feel like it's so poorly written that there can't be hidden themes.
Yeah.
Like it's too dumb.
It's too shitty.
But if you read it as like, oh, so all the heroes are terrorists now and they're still the good guys, so cool, let's see where this goes. Like it's pretty good from that angle.
Yeah, we're kind of just like trying to see where it's going instead of like actually caring about what's going on.
Yeah. Which is maybe like a condescending way to read a book, but it's really entertaining that way.
No, I feel like that's a lot of comics.
Yeah.
a, lot,
Yeah.
a lot of them are just bad, and you're kind of just hanging on to like one aspect that you don't hate.
Hmm.
I don't know.
I definitely like find really tiny things to like in comics now because sometimes it's like such a dry field. It's like, oh, this guy draws shoes really well. Like I appreciate that. Especially when I recognize the shoe. That's the worst. When
Oh my god.
there's like a My Hero Academia pinup page where like he
Oh
drew
yeah.
Air Force Ones and I could spot it from almost across the room. And I was like, oh, I got a problem.
Yeah, I love My Hero Academia. He draws really good hands and shoes.
Yeah, for sure. He's got such a cool sense of style, I think. Like it's a
Yeah, I think.
superhero comic that doesn't look superhero-y necessarily.
Mhm.
Like with the I guess All Might has like the bulging muscles and all that stuff, but everyone's mostly like normal proportioned or like anime weird.
Yeah, like big, huge hands, but that's about it.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
feet. Um, yeah, I really like that he's super into American comics, and so that's kind of I feel like that's kind of why it resonates so much with like an American audience,
Oh, for sure.
and maybe not so much with a Japanese audience who's like, "What the fuck? Like, who cares about Spider Man? Like, why do you care so
Yeah, he came to San Diego this year, but I
I
missed out.
I kind of wish that I went just for him, but I was like, I don't know if I can handle being like with all the other nerds.
Yeah, they almost shut down the booth at Viz and
Oh
Funimation
my
for his
god,
signings. There were so many people.
crazy! That's so awesome, though.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine this when I was a kid and like manga was still like some underground like creepy thing.
Yeah, like someone's like you're a pervert for liking
Yeah,
it.
but now like there's Crunchyroll and Shonen Jump and like basically everybody does it.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
There's this rap group called Flatbush Zombies that's really good. They just put out an album this year called Vacation in Hell, and it's like super aggro New York rap. But I found out that one of the dudes has a tattoo of Gon from or Killua from Hunter x Hunter on his
Oh
arm.
my
Really?
Yeah,
That's how
Oh
you know you
my
can
god.
trust him.
yeah. It's
If
so
they have
cool.
like a Sasuke tattoo, you can't trust them. But if they have like a Hunter x Hunter tattoo, it's
Yeah,
fine.
they're a real one. Yeah. What's some of your favorite shonen? Like, what are you into?
I guess for me, I like My Hero Academia. I always like One Piece. I'm like a big One Piece
Yeah,
fan.
same here.
I
I
feel
haven't
like
read One Piece yet.
oh my god, you have to read it. It's like I feel like it's kind of stood the test of time for me, just because there's so many other series where I was like, yeah, I like it, but then I'm like not 15 anymore and I don't like it as much. Like Naruto is kind of like that for me. A little bit of Bleach too. Like I just like went cold turkey, stopped reading Bleach, so I guess I don't really have a frame of reference. I never got into Full Metal Alchemist, even though everyone I know is into it. So
Yeah.
So I think it's just for me, it's just One Piece. I like My Hero Academia. I think like I've read like a bunch of like kind of like defunct Shonen Jump series. Like I think D Grayman's still like in some Jump subsidiary magazine. That was like years ago too, and like Hitman Reborn was big for me when I was like 18.
Oh yeah.
But I guess like wait, what was the other one? Oh my god. Oh, Jojo. Well, obviously Jojo.
Oh yeah,
is,
always JoJo.
but Jojo is like so like kind of genre bending
Mm-hmm.
in a lot of ways that I feel like it's not like your typical shonen series because it's just so like fashion oriented and like fashion illustration centric, and he's also like really weird, just like a weirdo that like loves music and stuff, and it's not really that common in shonen manga. I feel because I don't know. I feel like a lot of manga artists reference to pop culture as just other manga or anime or something or video. And his is like a little bit more well-rounded, but that's just my biased opinion.
Yeah, I think that's true. Because I think a lot of stuff has to be like not lowest common denominator, because that sounds rude, but like they want to appeal to as many people as possible.
Yeah, exactly.
So they don't want to get too like, oh, this is my Gucci year.
Yeah,
this is the Gucci story arc.
Yeah, like I think in a way it is like it's not like no one likes fashion. Obviously, a lot of people love it, but like there's not that many people that are in fashion that are gonna be like, oh, I love this like weird manga series about people like killing each other over generations or something, or like cowboys and he like loves Britney Spears and shit, and like and like name stands after like Notorious B.I.G. and like Limp Bizkit and stuff, which I don't know. It's like stuff like that where I just think it's so funny, and then I can't explain it properly to people just because I feel like unless you read it and you can't and you're like into all those things at the same time, it's not as funny. Like it's not like this elevated experience.
Yeah, I agree. It's almost you just sound like a weirdo explaining it, but
Yeah,
if you're in it, like you get why all that sounds amazing.
yeah, it's so like it's just like everything that I like in like one thing. And I've never seen anything like that before, just because there are always things that were like kind of like, yeah, I like it, and it appeals to like a couple of my interests, but I felt like JoJo is one of the things that encompasses a lot of them at the same time without compromising anything. So it's, I don't know, yeah, it's good.
Sloane, have you read JoJo?
Not all of it, but so far my favorite arc is the Jolene arc.
Oh, she's
yeah,
awesome.
Stone Ocean's my favorite.
Yeah, but I haven't read like Golden
Wind.
Like, yeah, I haven't read that one. With the like horse one.
The first one?
No, the horse one. The one where they're like racing on.
Steel Ball Run.
Yeah.
I like Steel Ball Run. That's the one where like they're trying to find Jesus's bones. A gay like horse love story. So
wow.
Why did you not read that one? You love horses.
I don't know. I just haven't gotten to it yet. It's true though. I do love horses, but yeah.
You're just like a fake horse fan because you don't haven't read the one.
How dare you? The only horse manga, sci-fi horse manga out there. Yeah, that's true. I am fake.
Jeez, that might be.
David, what's your favorite arc of JoJo so far?
Ah man, I love Diamond is Unbreakable.
Oh yeah, well that one everyone likes that one.
Yeah, Rohan is just such a good concept for a character.
Yeah, he's great. I like it's so like low stakes though. I was like I like it, but I don't feel any of like the stress.
Oh yeah. I think that's partly why, because Stardust Crusaders was so stressful by the end. Yeah. That I was just like, I need it like a cool down.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Yeah, I just reread the Dio fight. And that whole sequence where he's coming out of the coffin.
Oh, good.
And it's like 20 pages of just people like looking at things, and it's perfect comics.
It's so freaking crazy. Like I love Stardust Crusaders because it just has like such good fights.
Yeah.
I think like my favorite part was when Jotaro doesn't know how to play video games, or he's never played one. And like And even it's so good. Like Joseph's like, what the fuck? Like you're 16 years old.
There's so much like good personality stuff in there.
Yeah.
Because like the last two arcs, there's the video game arc, and then there was another weird thing that he did. Like there were some kind of stories you shouldn't do in comics so they can be boring to watch, like to draw. But he made video games amazing.
He did a good job with everything.
Yeah.
I also like when Ongo Boingo was trying to like pose as was he trying to pose as like Polnareff?
Yes.
I think he was trying to pose as him, and he was like, do that one thing where you put like 4 cigarettes in your mouth and like light them and then like spit them out again, all still lit. It's like I'm gonna die.
Like
just like their dumb off hours stuff.
Yeah, Jojo's excels at like being an asshole as a character trait.
Yeah,
because that's all anyone does. It's just like I'm just gonna outthink this guy and then make him do what I want and then embarrass him. The end. And it's beautiful. Like it's so much fun.
Yeah, I love it. I just love how stoic they all are, but they're like truly like weird goofballs, even though they're like 10 feet tall and like super buff.
Everyone's like 14.
Yeah, everyone's like 4. They get younger and younger, but more and more buff.
Yeah. It's like you were saying about how JoJo pulls in a lot of different references. I feel like One Piece does the same, but like keeps it low key.
Yeah, it is a lot more low key about it.
Yeah, because it turns out all of like the admirals are dudes from Japanese gangster movies, or like modeled after them, which is super cool.
Yeah, I could see that, especially because they look a lot different from a lot of the other characters. I'm like, why do they look like real guys?
Yeah. But like the core of One Piece, like that friendship thing, I don't know what it was after I turned 30, but I just like need stories about friendship now. Like it's just so cool to me.
Yeah, it's kind of this like unwavering, unconditional thing almost.
Yeah.
In the One Piece universe. I don't know. Yeah, Sloane, read it.
There's only
I have to wait till
20,000 pages of it or whatever.
Yeah, it's like 800 plus chapters. I think
they just beat 900 actually.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been going, I guess, 20 years straight.
Yeah, I think it started in 97.
Yeah. It's so good.
That's
like
crazy.
The character designs are off the charts. He says he draws it with his 14-year-old spirit in mind.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I love it when he draws like he's like unexplained big people. They're like really big, and I'm like, are they normal? Or are they like giants?
Yeah, why does he have giants and giant people? Like I feel like one is good enough.
Yeah. He's like, no, I want to have all of them, like different scale, big people.
But he's another guy where it's cool to see like how he progressed over the course of the manga. Like JoJo's, like the art gets wild after like part 2 or 3, where Araki really comes into his own, and the same thing really happens on One Piece. I guess if you draw like 85 volumes of something, like you have to get better at some point.
Yeah, you have to like really find what your like art is.
Yeah.
That kind of reminds me of like what's his face, that guy that does Grappler Baki. Like I hate that comic. Like I can't look at it.
Yeah.
Have you?
I finally got to read that like this week. Someone put it out on Kindle.
It makes me feel sick.
I don't even understand why the proportions are the way they are. You know, like Rob Liefeld stuff. It's like, oh, like muscles are cool. This is like, what if we put everybody in a torture rack and then the microwave?
Yeah, it's like scary. It's so scary. Like I was like, and their noses. Like I'm like, what's happening?
Yeah.
Like,
there was a
so
really
crazy.
good some of the chapter art for it. There's like a famous drawing of a boxer that's like the quintessential guy, and the Baki author like used that as a reference, but then pasted Baki's face over it. So it's a really realistic body and then like a cartoon face. It's ridiculous.
God.
It's so creepy.
He is crazy. Oh my god.
But stuff like that, or I feel like that about High School of the Dead.
I don't know if I'm like Googling rather.
Yeah, it's it looks exactly like what it is. It's super pornographic.
Oh yeah. Boobs.
Yeah. But all the proportions are so weird to where I'm like, who is this for?
Horny people.
Like, what kind of horny people, though? There's so much better horny stuff on the internet.
I think like the better horny stuff is like too subtle.
Yeah.
Like, I think some people just need like really in your face, like panty, boob, fan service stuff. Or otherwise they like I don't get it.
Like I feel nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's too
Like,
extreme.
I want it to look painful to be alive. Oh god.
Jeez. Yeah, I reread One
Ew,
Piece
no.
last year, just for actually because I was in Portland and depressed, and that's a good comic to read while you're depressed. And it's
Because it's so uplifting.
it's so uplifting. Just everything about it is just like, guess what, man? We're friends. That means I have your back forever, even if you try to kill me.
Yeah, it's so good. He's also crazy. Like Oda's also does a lot of crazy proportions. Actually,
Yeah, for sure.
his women are like a bit too much, but I'm like, I don't know. I'll give you a
Yeah,
pass.
it's so good.
I was like, I don't know. You probably haven't had that much time to like be a person or anything, so you've just been like drawing a comic for 20 years, like straight,
I think
basically.
he did apologize for going on a honeymoon once.
God. Got married to like a cosplayer, like a One Piece
Yeah, which
cosplayer, I
is
think.
Oh my God.
amazing.
It's like kind of goals, but also kind of like freaky. Like it shouldn't
Yeah,
be.
the guy who did, was it Galaxy? No, not Galaxy Express. The Oh My Goddess guy also married a cosplayer.
Oh god, he looks like he would. His art looks like he would do that though.
Yeah, totally. And she's like 40 years younger than he is.
Oh my god,
God.
It's like a whole
Wait, how old is
generation. He's in his 60s or 70s.
Ew, what the hell?
Yeah.
Like, didn't I think Oh my goddess just ended? Like, it only ended like 4 years ago.
Yeah, it was super recently. I thought it had been over.
I like every time I was like, "Isn't that over?" I looked it up and I was like, "It's still going." Like,
I'm sure they added a bunch of goddesses by the end.
oh god, he's like more wife
Yeah.
for me.
It's amazing when you can
Oh,
tell
God.
what someone is into by what their work is. Like when
Yeah.
it's a little bit too real, you're like, oh, okay, I get it now.
Just the repetitive imagery. You're like, okay.
Yeah.
You're like, I get it. Okay, you like it. I googled it. He's 54.
Oh, he's 54. Oh, he just looks 60 or 70.
But he married in 2016. He married a 20-year-old cosplayer. So that's
Wow.
super gross.
That'll be you soon, Leslie. You'll be able to marry one of your cosplayers.
I haven't. No, I don't want to marry a cosplayer. I hate cosplayers. Oh my god. Ew. Okay. Well, anyway, huge tangent, but
Yeah.
what were we talking about? Comics?
Yeah.
Like shonen. What about like Inui stuff, like Slam Dunk and Real?
Oh yeah,
Oh.
Slam Dunk that, of course.
Yeah, it's
Classic.
flawless.
Hmm.
Like I've got the finale that he did on the chalkboards in Japan.
Oh yeah,
I got
yeah.
a copy of that. It's like a postcard set. They also did like a giant art book of it, and it's just like the
Yeah.
last Slam Dunk story, and it's so like perfect.
Ugh.
Like I remember I was in Japan a couple of years ago, and I went with Fawn. She works at Viz
Oh
too.
yeah, I sit next to her.
Yeah, so Fawn was like, we were at Mandarake, which is like, if for those that don't know, it's like this like shop that kind of sells used goods, but it's like specifically mostly for comics or toys and stuff. And then like we saw this thing that was just like a bunch of cardboard and it said Slam Dunk on it, but it was like wrapped up. And we were like, what's in the cardboard? Like, what could it be? And I think it was like prints of that. Like
Oh
it was
yeah,
prints
that's
of
the
the final
postcard set.
Yeah, so I was like, what the fuck is this? And then like it was like only until years later that I actually found out what was inside, and I was like, oh, it's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
He's a cool, like, I like that he came out through like the most mainstream publication ever, and then he just decided to do
Yeah.
whatever he wanted for the rest of his life.
Basketball.
Yeah. And
Basketball.
like traveling Spain to look at like churches.
Yeah.
So cool.
I just like his basketball stuff still.
Yeah. Not big on Vagabond.
Oh, Vagabond's the one where I'm like, oh, it's a self-help comic. I get it.
It's like just like a bunch of like sayings.
Yeah. It's like sayings and fight scenes
Like-
with sayings underneath them.
Yes.
Yeah, people in like fields with sayings. Yeah, I'm not a huge Vagabond fan, but I'm a huge Slam Dunk fan. I like Real too, but I haven't been keeping up as much.
Real gets extremely
so-
emotional.
It's too sad. It's like sometimes I'm like, it's way too much.
Yeah.
It's like overwhelmingly sad.
But some of the drawings.
Yeah, I'm like rereading both of Slam Dunk and Real right now because I need like not
Oh,
inspiration,
basketball.
but like I need shortcuts.
Yeah.
And so I'm like for games and stuff. So I'm like the way he like draws the courts and like draws draws people in motion, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is what I can do with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, real is like heartbreaking.
And there's that whole arc of Real that's just about the wrestler. Like, it's amazing that he took his basketball comic and made it a different kind of sports comic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's still
He like
good.
transcended basketball.
Yeah. That was his goal all along.
It's still like within his like frame of reference, like because like obviously he loves basketball, so it's still about that, but not at the same time. But I don't know. Yeah, I feel like it's interesting because I'm like pretty into sports manga, but I don't care about sports at all. So like my only reference within sports is like I like sports manga. Like I read Kuroko's basketball, and like Slam Dunk and like iShell 21, and I was like I don't care about basketball or football or like any of this, and yet I'm like it's like riveting.
Yeah, iShield was a lot of fun.
Yeah, for
I still
sure.
need to finish that one.
I don't like the last couple of matches that they had. Like, I felt like those you could just like stop reading before like the last volume or something, which sounds like a really bad thing to say, but I feel like people would agree with me if they read it all.
What is it about sports manga that you like? Like what for both of y'all, actually?
I guess friendship.
Yeah.
Camaraderie. Yeah. Coming together with people that you normally wouldn't.
Yeah. Being like basically like forcing dynamics on a group of people, and then like you're either gonna make it or just like break everything between you. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
And like everyone's invested in everyone's like invested in each other like physically and emotionally. Like you're trying to get better at this thing, but then you're also like trying to solve like other problems that may be affecting them outside of whatever sport they're playing. So
that's a really good point.
Yeah, I love it when people are like, when it's kind of like someone's really great at the sport, like but they're one person, and they kind of go through an arc where they're like, I have to like make my team better so we can all be better, and I can't just carry the team.
Yeah,
I love that too. And they're kind of like they're emotional in a way that like American comics basically, like superhero comics, almost never are. Like people can cry in sports comics, and it's like a sign of triumph instead of, you know, like, oh, like my aunt is sick or whatever.
Yeah.
That's a messed up example, but like there's so much stuff in Haikyuu where like a player will lose a game and it's his last game of high school, and he just ends the chapter
I love
weeping. That. And you're like, oh, like I'm so happy for you and so sad at the same time. Like it's so deep. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess it's interesting too because like I guess in Japan like it's not really a thing for most people to go on to become like sports players even if they're really good. And so I feel like it's very like cathartic and like sad and good to see people being like, this is my last game ever. I'm not gonna like become a pro player. Like this is just it for me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna like be a normal person after this.
And I feel like the stakes are better than in like battle manga where it's like, oh no, the world is going to be destroyed. Like that's cool.
Yeah.
But I can relate more to like, oh no, I'm going to get cut from the team if I don't run 40 laps.
Yeah, exactly. So what would you say your favorite sports manga are for both of you?
Ooh.
Slam Dunk.
Yeah, Slam Dunk is up there. I was trying to think of ones that weren't Slam Dunk.
Well, like Rough and like, I don't know, all the Mitsuru series.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Tachi, Mitsuru.
Yeah.
Like I liked like Ace of Diamond, kind of. I read a bit of that and like Yowamushi Pedal.
Oh yeah, I watched some of Yowamushi. That was kind of cool.
It was fun. It's like it's a different like type of sports, I guess. Like it's not really. It is team oriented, but also not.
Yeah.
Like, kind of like personal goal oriented. I don't know.
I think Slam Dunk is my most favorite. But I've been reading one called All Rounder Megaru, which is like MMA sports manga. So it's like fights and like competition. And it's really good. It's like, I guess it's drawn like from real reference, like all the moves look like they would in real life. And I'm not even really into MMA. I feel like it's kind of boring to watch sometimes. But the drama is so good because it's not just like I have to get better at basketball. It's like I have to get better at all these random things and lift weights or do sit-ups or, you know, whatever. I think that a new volume just came out, actually. I got to pick it back up again. There's like 6 or 7 now.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Did you ever read Chihaya Furu? That's like the card playing.
Oh, no. I've heard about it, but I didn't like look into it yet.
It's like it's like shoujo shonen almost in a way.
Mhm.
It's like very like relationship heavy, but also like heavy on the craft and kind of like competition. Just interesting. Like, and I feel like I read a lot considering I don't know what they're doing. That's like me with a lot of sports manga where I'm like, what is happening? But I'm into it.
Whenever there's like a tabletop game, like Go, what's the Go manga?
Oh,
Is it
Hikaru
just
no
Go?
Go.
I don't know.
Yeah. And I'm just like, oh, this is so intense, but I'm like, I have no idea why any of this is like stressful.
Yeah.
There's just like
It's like when I'm playing a video game, like I think it was like playing Yakuza 0, and then they're like, here's a Go board. I'm like, I don't know how to play this though.
you're like,
how do I like lose it like immediately? I don't know how to.
you're like, I forfeit.
Yeah, that sports manga energy is wild.
Yes. Have you read Tepu? It's
Is that
kind of
volleyball?
newish. No, it's girls MMA.
Oh no, I want to though. I've heard about that one.
Yeah, it's really cool. There's like a very dark central character who I like, which is kind of puts a different spin on it. She just like leans into her like evil tendencies, and then her like rival is like an actual sweet person. So
Oh my God.
That's awesome.
it's really fun.
Yeah, I love that stuff. Like, it's funny. Like, I guess it feels weird as an adult to be so into stuff that's meant for teens, but it's still so good. Like, I hope that I get something different out of it now than I would have, you know, when I was a teenager.
Yeah. No, I think you do. It's just, I feel like it has to be like, I don't know what it is. I feel like at a certain point you do have to like I feel like teens are on the cusp of understanding it almost.
Yeah.
They're like, these are cool drawings, and like there's something happening in the story, and there's like relationships being formed, but we don't quite know like the extent of that, like what it means really.
Yeah.
So I feel like I read stories so much better as an adult, but maybe that's just me being like an adult and I can't go back. So
But yeah, that's a good feeling when you reread something that you already liked and you're like, oh, this also makes sense at this age, or like it makes a different kind of sense, or you just figure out like what it meant to you at the time.
Yeah. Or you didn't like a certain character, or you liked a character for something, but then you like revisit it and then you realize that you actually liked that character that you didn't like, or something else clicks and you're like, wait, this is like totally different because I'm an adult and I have like more context and like life experience.
I'm waiting to see if
I'd like Eve reading. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. Oh no, I was gonna say I'm waiting to see if I'll like Sasuke again as I get older, but
I don't know if you will, but I feel like it's kind of like he's kind of funny, like just his melodrama.
Yeah. Like, he's such a drama queen. It's amazing.
Like, he's such a dick, but like it's kind of like funny just to be like, this is like a kid and he's like going through shit.
Like, he's reacting exactly like a teenager would.
Yeah, and the people are like, why is he like this? Or like, they love it, they think he's so hot or whatever, and I'm like, okay. He's like 12.
I love the part where he's like, I have to kill you because you're my best friend.
Yeah.
Like, it's so, man, just chill out.
Like, get some help, talk to someone.
As a teen, I was like, it's so true, you do have to kill him for that.
It makes perfect sense.
Same.
I hate when that happens.
I hate it when you have to kill your best friend.
Yeah, that feeling, so I grew up mostly on American comics and discovered manga like in my teens, like my late teens probably. Aside from Akira, which I had like the English versions of, and just the way, like, I cry reading manga more than I do reading American comics usually.
Oh, yeah.
Like, from the emotion, just from the way they like use the emotions or like the scenes that they depict. Because I think that Japanese books do a better job of like setting the stage for an emotional reaction that's not just related to like a death or something violent happening.
Yeah.
Like, one of the best scenes in One Piece is when Nico Robin is like, I want to live on Water 7. And there's just like a
Mm-hmm. That's
close
my
up of her
favorite.
crying face, and like her team is like, "All right, cool, we're gonna rescue you," and that's the end of it.
They're like, we were already gonna rescue you, but like, just say that you want us to
Yeah,
rescue you again.
like that kind of conflict is so good, and so like I imagine it's pretty tough to pull off. Like it's very artful when it's done well,
Yeah.
and
It's also like I feel like the long runs and like shorter chapters helps a lot
oh
too.
yeah,
Like there's a lot. I don't know. Maybe that's just my bias. Like that's just kind of what I'm used to, I guess. But there's like a lot of not a. I guess there's like a significant amount of space for like a character to grow potentially
yeah,
in like in kind of like a tenured comic like One
yeah. If
Piece.
you look at like the evolution of Usopp, where he goes
Hmm.
from bumbling idiot to like cool dude to basically god mode.
Yeah, to like a scammer
Yeah,
god.
like you could never get away with that in like Spider-Man because it would take 20 years to get to that point, you know?
And then someone would be like, "No, I want to go back to like OG
Yeah,
Spider-Man and back to like being a teen and Peter Parker and doing some shit." I'm like, "Who cares? Let them
yeah.
change.
Like just
Let Batman
let us have
change."
this. Make that man retire. He's old as hell.
Yeah, he needs to go. He needs to like just chill. He's like a millionaire. He can
Yeah,
deal.
keeping up with the Waynes would be the ultimate reality show in comics.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of I don't know. It's always interesting with American comics because it's like you have to read it in a certain order, you have to read certain books, but then it's like the characters are meant to stay the same in a lot of
Hmm.
ways, and I never really understood that.
Yeah, I realized that I feel like everybody has like their time with superhero comics, or like a superhero
Mhm.
comic where it's like, oh, this was my X-Men era. Like here's when I really loved the X-Men. Then I just like grew out of it or changed or like I got what I needed from the X-Men. Because I used to love Spider-Man and now like I don't care anymore. Not in a way
Mm.
where like I don't like it or I don't like want it. It's just like I've had enough Spider-Man stories,
Yeah.
and I've had like a lot of Spider-Man stories, but I think it's cool to like move on and let somebody else have their stories too.
Mm.
Like I don't always need my the same Peter Parker. And the first comic I ever read was a Spider-Man comic, and he was
Hmm.
married and his wife was unemployed, and there was like a stalker subplot. And in
Oh my
hindsight,
god.
very inappropriate for like a 5-year-old. But like it hooked me on comics, like it worked. And now like I don't need that anymore. I've got Slam Dunk.
You're like, I'll just reread Slam Dunk. I'm
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Have you all seen the Slam Dunk reprints they're doing?
Yes,
Mm.
they're horny. The horny
Yes.
covers.
Which they're putting out like 6 of these a month just to get the series done really
Yeah.
fast.
Oh my god.
I was like at Book Off and I was like, should I buy Slam Dunk? And I was like, oh, but there's like 30 books and it's like $90. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm just buying the covers that I
There's
like at
another.
this point. Like I already have it in English. I don't need 2 copies.
Yeah, that makes more
Yeah.
sense. Oh god, buying books so stressful to me now.
Yeah, I'm so glad that I've got an iPad because that's where all my comics go now.
Oh yeah, I've been buying like I started buying Astro Boy
Oh yeah.
for my iPad.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, this is great, but the Kindle app is like so weird.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know how to use it, but it's not really Kindle's problem, I guess, or the comics problem itself.
How is that? I've never read Astro Boy.
It's good if you like Tezuka
Hmm.
stuff, I think. I kind of just want to read it because I had just read Pluto and I was like, I need more context because I never actually read Astro
Yeah.
Boy.
Mm.
And it's very interesting. Like, I think that I feel like if someone wasn't, I don't know if like it's nostalgia or like knowing that there's like such a huge legacy behind his work, but I really like
Hmm.
him.
Mm.
But I don't know if that would make sense for like just like the average person who likes I don't know maybe One Piece to just go and read a bunch of Tezuka without any
Yeah.
context to like how much he actually did. I don't know. Have you read like his other work?
I feel like I read MW and a couple others.
Oh yeah, I love
Mm.
MW and I like Buddha. Buddha's like
Yeah,
my
Buddha's on
favorite,
my list.
and Black Dog.
And
And Phoenix.
Phoenix I want to read. It's weird.
Oh
There's
yeah,
like it's almost intimidating to want to get into his stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
because like you know who he is, you know, like Godfather of manga, and also like you know that people love these, so you don't want to read it and like somehow not like it.
Mm.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Yeah.
Phoenix, I
Yeah,
really
I
want
can
to
see
read.
that. Phoenix definitely has like I've definitely heard that there are more like the stories that people like and the stories that people are like whatever
Hmm.
about. But I am curious. I probably would get like the digital versions of those because I think the print versions are like they're like out of print, so they're like $200 $300
Oh
per
yeah,
Yeah.
book. I'm like, no,
yeah. No, just give me
I'm
the
not that
comic, please. I don't need the wrapper, man.
I don't know. Are there like any like how I guess I already asked this, but like any more comics that everyone likes that you don't understand?
Um.
I love talking about people
Oh,
things that people
Berserk.
hate. Oh, you don't like
No,
it?
I
Oh.
read
Controversial.
what is it? I think volume 3 ends with a cliffhanger that's like this kid's gonna get raped the next volume, and I was like, I'm
Oh
Mm.
out. Like I've had enough.
You're not into that?
It was really, like it's so well drawn, and I totally get why people like it. But I was just like, it's just too. It felt bad for my soul. It was just so misanthropic.
It is very
Mm.
cool. I think like I feel like the first not the first volume but like the 7 volumes after
Yeah.
that, like the golden age like arc is just like some of the most amazing storytelling in
Mm.
manga. It is extremely brutal though. I think that's like a bit like if you're not into that then you're just not into it. Like there's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that.
It
But
asks
it's
a lot
just
of
Yeah.
you.
but it just fucks you up like really bad. But if you can handle that, then it's like it's kind of one of those like unforgettable stories.
Yeah. I got that
Mm.
feeling
So messed up.
just because everyone I know who likes
It's like
Berserk like really likes Berserk.
it's just messed up. It's hard to read for sure. Like I had to stop reading after a while. I was like, I feel like my soul has been like taken out and like rearranged and like put back in and it's not the same.
Yeah. And, like I love violent comics, like you know I like action stuff. It's my bag. But I actually hit my limit with Lone Wolf and Cub because I read
Mm.
too much of it
I never
too
read that
soon. Like it was really
one.
good, and I
Yeah, yeah.
was like vibing to it. Then I was just like, this is a huge downer all the time. I read like
Mm.
10 volumes in like a week and a half. It was totally my fault. Like I like OD'd on Lone Wolf and Cub.
I love doing that though, but it's like it's really bad for you,
Yeah,
I think. Bad for
you
your
got to
brain.
take breaks.
For sure. I think like a lot of like the 70s shoujo manga, like the year 24 manga are like kind of like
Mm.
that.
Mm.
Like very brutal and like unrelentingly sad and it's just like what the hell? Like
Yeah.
everything in your life is like messed up and wrong. Like why is it like
Yeah,
that?
like we
I
get
don't know.
this lesson enough in real life. Give us a break.
Yeah.
I've really been
Yeah,
enjoying
I think that's
rereading old shonen, or not old shonen jump series, but like recently old, like World Trigger or
I
Mm.
never read that one.
not Hunter. Yeah, Hunter x Hunter. Actually, I've been working on too. Stuff that
Mm-hmm.
ended in recent memory or went on hiatus, just to see like how it feels compared to Dragon Ball or Jojo.
Mm.
And it's like it's probably been 5 years since I last read World Trigger because it's been on hiatus. Like the author got sick or something like that. But I like it even more now that I have like the distance from it. I can read it all in one chunk instead of serialized. Like you
Mm-hmm.
just realize like, oh, like here's like foreshadowing for this really cool bit coming down the line, or like here's a really good running joke that made me laugh like 3 years ago or something like that. It's like a memory lane thing. It's
Yeah.
not too
Mm.
serious. Just like the safe kind of nostalgia.
That makes sense to me. Like it's always so hard to see that when you're reading a serialized comic, like if you're keeping up week to week.
Yeah.
And I feel like even when you're making a serialized comic, it's hard to know how it reads all together. Like if people are going to like pick up on
Hmm.
stuff. Sometimes they don't, but I mean, like sometimes they do, and then it's like it's so much more rewarding that
Yeah.
way.
I love just that close connection is partly why I love comics so much. Like I feel like it's honestly the best storytelling medium that we've got.
Mm.
Because like
Mhm.
amazing, excuse me, amazing drawing, amazing writing, and like you really do think about it forever.
Mm.
Like there are words I learned from X-Men comics that like are just stuck in my head. And I think especially for something like Shonen Jump or something like emotion oriented like that, Like you really, excuse me, jeez, you really feel like those feelings. Like even the second time through, you're like, oh, this made me feel like wild sad last time, but I feel triumphant this time.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's such a good medium.
What do you think like the future of comics is? Like, do you think that it's good now and it's going to get better, or like
I think it's good
what is your
now,
thought?
hopefully. I'm not sure how it can get better other than, like different people doing even better comics. Like, like better every year, I think is going to be true. I think like the formats we have them in between like tablet oriented digital, phone digital, and regular paper, I feel like that's like the sweet spot. It's
Yeah.
just getting more people to read comics is the trick.
Mm.
Because I love, you can get comic ebooks from the library now, which is
Yeah.
amazing. Like that's something I could have never imagined as a kid if I knew what
That's
ebooks were as a kid. But like the access is just off the charts. So now it's just like, what kind of comics do people want to read? Like, what does the real mainstream want to read instead of, just like the comic shop mainstream?
Yeah.
So I feel really optimistic, which is very unlike me because I'm not really an optimistic dude. But I feel like every year there's some comic that like knocks my socks off, whether it's American or Japanese or whatever. I don't know. How do y'all feel?
Yeah, I'm hoping like American comic readers and like Western comic readers can have like embrace more genre types that aren't necessarily like archetypical like sci-fi or something. And like as I'm working on this like slice of life story, I'm like, I don't know if people are gonna just like this like plain setting and like very straightforward like drama. I don't know.
Yeah. I always found it interesting that like slice of life is not really a genre outside of like YA stuff in America or in like Western market.
Yeah.
And it just, I'm like, why? It's like so fun to look at people's drawings. Like so fun to like read less words. Like I don't see like why that shouldn't be a thing. Like I don't know. I have no idea how to get more people to read comics. I think the key might be like having people understand that it's just like another type of book.
Yeah.
Or like a book magazine type thing, like where it's like it's okay. Like it's not a picture book. It's like you can read it and like look at the drawings and like appreciate it, and it's like it's fine.
Yeah. And I mean there's like sports movies and stuff that people see, so it's not like a totally like unexpected thing or like just slice of life movies, but I feel like it's so like unheard of in like Western comics for that to be like the sole focus and not have like a set dressing of some sort of like over the top genre.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think people are just weird about comics, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I think that them being like trapped in comic shops for so long, like it kept like mainstream comics alive, but it also kind of filtered them out a little bit too. Because if you weren't going to comic shops and you liked slice of life, like you couldn't get those books, or you didn't, or whatever. Which is kind of a bummer because I feel like indie movies, like there's a ton of slice of life indie movies. Like there's obviously an audience for it.
Yeah.
And that's something else. Like I agree with Leslie. Like it's super cool to see in comics form, just someone like talking about their life and drawing it in a cool way. Whether it's like my lesbian experience with loneliness or like a goofy, like here's my dumb life comic.
Yeah. Oh god, like Disappearance Diary.
I still haven't read that one.
You gotta read it.
Oh.
I really like Insufficient Direction.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Like, I felt like it's so good. Like so many gags and like so many like kind of like nerd references, but also like it's just like a reference to life.
Yeah.
Like, and it's just like it's like I don't know. I love stuff like that where it's like it feels so smart to read stuff like that. And I don't know. Like I still like comics, but I like understand people don't read them, and I don't even have like a comic book shop. So I guess I'm like I can't really say anything about that either. So
oh, I just reread or read for the first time Drifting Classroom.
Oh yeah. Oh god.
Which I still don't know what that was about, but it was amazing all the way through.
It's so good.
It's just like life is
it's
traumatic.
so devastating.
So messed up.
Same. I was like really big into like Kazuo Umezu like a couple years
Yeah.
ago.
Mm.
But Drifting Classroom is still like the best one, like my favorite from
I
him.
was just amazed that the
And
first
like,
volume was just a kid getting slapped every chapter.
Yeah.
it's so like mean to the kids. It's so
Yeah.
sad.
So
Like
scary.
if I was in that situation, I'd probably be dead for sure.
I would prefer to be like those kids they crucified one kid. Like,
Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
messed up. It's like what is it? Lord of the Flies, but a lot
Yeah.
worse.
plus giants and magic. Like that was a really fun one to read through. Even though I was like, geez, this is like the worst version of Home Alone.
Yeah.
At the end of Drifting Classroom, did they ever get back? Or did they?
No,
What happened?
it was just like they'll
He
get
died,
back
right?
sometime. We're gonna fund
Oh
because the
yeah,
mom like put
maybe.
something on a satellite that crashed to Earth after everybody on Earth died.
Oh man, yeah. They're like maybe like we'll be saved eventually, like in like 1,000
Yeah,
years.
Aw.
it was
So brutal.
amazing. Like just every
Oh man,
plot twist was like, why did that happen?
yeah. But it's like I feel like it's kind of believable. Like all that stuff that happened, I was like, man,
Yeah, kids
yeah.
believe anything like that. I was trying to tell a friend, I was like, just the kids are really credulous. Like every time some kid,
Yeah.
like one kid is like, "Oh, my dad's a doctor," so they get him to do an appendix surgery,
Yeah.
Oh
and it's like
god.
that's not how surgery works. You can't just know somebody who's done it and be the best person for the job.
Yeah.
Basic knowledge. That's kind of how kids are, though. I guess like kind of
Yeah,
stupid. Oh my god.
I want to reread it. I love stories that are like taking like the innocence, like stories focused on children and taking their innocence to like strange like stretches where that's how they're like rationalizing what they should do
yeah.
because they
Yeah.
don't know any better and they're just like grabbing whatever sounds like logical.
It really made me like I feel like adults do that too, and
Yeah.
that comic was a good mirror to go like, oh wait, yeah, that's not. People make decisions like this all the time.
Mhm.
Yeah. Exactly. Like people do stupid things, and it's not really their fault a lot of the
Yeah.
time.
Mm.
It's like human nature to like have to try to solve something because you don't have anything else to
Mhm.
do.
Yeah. Drifting Classroom always reminds me of like Watership Down. I don't know if you've like read that or like watched
Not
it at
yours.
all. But I love the bit where they're like the rabbits like find like this den and there's like carrots just like scattered around and they're like, yeah, you can eat that, and they're all like fat rabbits, and it's because they like sacrifice one of their like warren to the like farmer or whatever.
Jeez.
And they're
God.
like, yeah, like we have to so we can get carrots, and we don't want to question it because it's just so dark, and like the bunnies are like, oh my god.
You're like, no, don't eat them. Those are death carrots.
That is so cool.
Uh,
Yeah, I should go back and check that out.
hmm.
I need to read more books that aren't comics.
I've been trying. It takes so long.
It's hard. It's hard to switch. I feel if you're not used to it for sure.
What do you
Oh my
like to read, David? Like
I like crime novels. Actually, I like Jack Reacher.
Mm. You like Jack
I've read a bunch of
Reacher?
those because they're
Nice.
so basic. Like they're very easy to read.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And he's just always being some kind of dick to a terrorist or something like that. Like he sets off a dirty bomb in one book, and it's like a heroic show of defiance.
Oh,
And
God.
actually, it's not a dirty bomb, but he's not sure if it's a dirty bomb or not. But he still sets it off. I was like, this guy is a lunatic. Like
Oh my
this is the
God.
most American thing in the world.
It's true.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, stuff like that. I'm not
Yeah.
super into like sci-fi. Like I'll read it, but I don't usually seek it out. But I like
Mhm.
normal people with relatively normal people problems.
Hmm. Like
That
Jack
makes
Reacher. Yeah.
Oh god.
Jack Reacher is slice of
Yeah,
life.
it totally is. Someone was posting all the ways that Lee Child described Jack Reacher's hands in different books.
Oh yeah.
And it was like he's got hams like a Thanksgiving turkey, like a birthday cake.
Oh
It's
god.
ridiculous. Like, okay, we get it. He's got big hands. Like,
Yeah.
eating.
Man. man, what's it like to like have like an OC like that you can just like write about forever and just like extrapolate on his appearance like endlessly?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Like it reads almost like fan fiction of the thing that it actually is.
Yeah, yeah.
For sure.
Like, what if Jack Reacher
I don't
was
know.
Mary Sue?
Oh man. Oh, did you guys watch that new Man Ben that came out like last week?
I haven't been watching them because I'm stuck. I'm like watching too much Vanderpump Rules.
Oh god. Oh.
I need to like go back to it because it's so great. But I know that I'll get into a certain mood after I watch Monda.
Who is the guest
I need
this
to, like-
time?
Her name is Ranjo Miyake.
Mm-hmm.
I had never heard of her, but she's cool. She's like this older mangaka lady. She has a pet pig whose name is like Boon Boon or something. And she walks upstairs with like Naoki, and she's like, Boon Boon is sleeping, and they like peer into her room, and it's his room, and he's like, it's a giant potbelly pig, and he's like napping, and she's like, gotta be quiet. And he's like, wow.
That's like your dream. So
This is my dream. It's my
Yeah.
dream. And so she goes into the office and she's like drawing, and she does like crazy like sci-fi fantasy, just like off the wall, like comics. I have never heard of them. I guess her most popular one is called like Emery.
Mhm.
But like she does that, she draws pages, and then in the afternoon for a break, she goes out and washes the pig with like a big like bathing brush, and she like scrubs him, and then she goes back to work, and like it was so good. But yeah, you gotta watch her Man Ben. It's so good.
I feel like I'm behind on them. I haven't been watching them as much.
Yeah,
Shame.
I would love to find someone to host an American one.
Oh, I know, right? That'd be so cool.
It would
Yeah.
be very cool, but who?
Yeah, that's the trouble.
David Brothers Monben.
Oh
Yes.
no.
Oh my gosh.
You have to like go to people's like gross houses and talk to them.
Yeah.
You're
Come
the
back
only
sick every time.
universally likable person in comics, David. So you probably have the best chance.
Everyone
Oh,
else
that's a nightmare.
David's like, please don't make me do that. Like, please don't.
He's like, yeah.
I'm sure I would get so sick in like some awful cartoonist den.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
like, you get like the bubonic plague or something.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It'd be so messed up.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Jeez.
I'm gonna look into it. I'm gonna kickstart it.
Yeah, we can make it
Like
happen.
against his will. So messed up.
I have friends that do like mini documentaries for like surgeons, and they go and record like their surgeries and stuff. I'm like, they could do that. I could make it work. I don't
Yeah.
know. Something to think about.
You could include a health insurance stretch goal in the Kickstarter.
Yes. How
Like,
to survive to complete
I don't
this
know how they
Kickstarter.
I don't know how they live. They don't go outside.
Yeah.
Just have like a glass, like what is that, plexiglass divider.
Or a bubble. Did you see that warning about making sure to open your windows when it's super cold outside so you don't die of carbon monoxide poisoning?
What?
It was a
Wait,
tip from some cartoonist that I hadn't heard of on Twitter. Was like, yeah, if you shut all your windows up to like heat proof your house, you're at risk of using up all the oxygen.
Oh.
Huh.
And I was like, that sounds kind of fake, but I don't know.
Well, would you like never open the door like to go outside? I don't get it.
Yeah, right?
Like
I guess it's hardcore deadline time is when it's most dangerous for cartoonists.
Oh, I guess I don't have that problem. I'm like, ew, no.
Yeah.
Well, you're never like in winter, but I mean, I guess
Yeah,
I
that's
shut up
true.
the house during winter.
That's why you have to live in a warmer climate. Otherwise, you can't draw comics.
Yeah. Survival of the fittest.
Like all your pages are covered in snow. Like, ugh.
Yes, that's what happens. Let's see. I think we're coming up on an hour, so I don't want to keep you too long, David. But
Cool. This was fun.
It was very good talking to you. I feel like
yeah.
there's just so many more secrets to be like pried from you, but there's not enough time.
Oh yeah. You give me a couple years, I'll have even more. It's gonna be great.
Yes.
Well,
I've
like,
heard on everybody in comics.
yeah, you have a lot more knowledge. You'll have like a whole database.
Yeah.
You're gonna be like BFFs with Araki by then.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Oh my god. Are you gonna go to Comic Con? Are you gonna go to Japan anytime soon?
Not this year, but I want to do it next year.
Or you go in winter, but it's really cold.
Yeah. I might be able to go to Jump Festa with my job. I have to
Oh
like
man.
Ooh,
mention it. Yeah, that would be really fun.
so cool.
Yeah. Don't go in
I'm
the
gonna
summer.
take advantage as much as I can.
Yes, do it.
Yeah, you have to like milk all the benefits of working there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like all the like books you can borrow and like or get for free if you want books.
Yeah.
Yes.
And like all the trips and like meet Rocky one day and like make him like teach you how to like make pasta or something.
I would love it. He sent us a video for Anime Expo. We debuted the new JoJo's anime,
Oh yeah.
part 5, and
Golden
he did a
Wind.
video announcing it, wearing like an apron and working in a studio. I was like, this guy is so cool. Like, how
He
did
is
this
so
happen?
Oh,
I love that he was like I'll set Stardust Crusaders in Egypt because I want to go to Egypt.
Yeah.
And like the same with like Italy. He's like, I want to go on vacation. I'm like, okay.
We're gonna go to research.
And they're like it's like the most like stereotypical like places in the manga itself. I'm like, did you have to? Like, are you sure?
But yeah, I'll report back with some goods next time.
awesome. Do you want to like link yourself or like?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I've got a public Twitter that's at Brothers Capital N Others,
Mm-hmm.
and it's where I link like the podcasts and like stuff I think is interesting. It's mostly about
Mhm.
music right now because music's like second best thing in the world to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then IamDavidBrothers.com has a link to all of my different websites and like who I am if you've never heard of me and didn't Google me yet. And I think that's it. I'm on Instagram a lot, mostly Instagram stories, but sometimes I put up like actual pictures.
Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, check David out. He's really cool. He's a cool guy.
Thank you.
And I guess you can find me at Leslie Hung on Twitter. I don't tweet that much, but whatever. And on Instagram at Dairy Free.
Mm-hmm. And then I'm Sloane on Twitter and Sloane Leong on Instagram.
And you can contact the podcast at Salt and Honey Pod on Twitter. And sometimes I post show notes on our Tumblr, which is also Salt and Honey Pod.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yay.
We're done. Thank you, David.
Awesome.